United react to Spurs' embarrassment. Klopp creates the wrong kind of history. It's transfer deadline day, so there's loads and loads of transfer news coming up, and Emoji Mondays all in the next few minutes. As I am your host, Matt Froelich, you are the OneFootballers, and this is the Daily News. But very quickly, before we get started on today's Daily News, make sure you do the survey that is currently in the description where you guys can help shape the future content on the OneFootball channel. First off, and Manchester United are reacting quickly to that utter embarrassment at home to Tottenham Hotspur. 6-1 was the final result, and down to 10 men as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side were absolutely slapped all over the park. I mean, it was a combination of United being terrible and Spurs being utterly brilliant. But my word, things need to change quickly in Manchester United. There's so much talk about how it's going to change, whether it's the players' fault, Shaw and Maguire definitely coming in for a lot of criticism, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault, the board's fault, the transfers, this, that and the other. It's all just looking absolutely terrible. So, in response to this, on deadline day today, it looks like Alex Telles will be permanent, a transfer from Porto to really help strengthen that left-back position. And Edinson Cavani will also be joining on a free transfer. But Man United fans, is that enough? No, Jadon Sancho will not be joining the club today, barring an unbelievable U-turn of ridiculous proportions. It's not going to happen. He'll be at Dortmund for the rest of the season. As for the rest of the shock, the embarrassment, I kind of don't want to talk about how bad Manchester United were. You know, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of publications, media talking United this, United that. Let's give Spurs some credit. And I know you always say, Matt, you never talk about United, or you always bias towards Spurs. What do you want me to say? United were unlucky. They were really, really good, and Spurs were just lucky scoring 6. Come off it. United was shit. Spurs were brilliant. Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Højbjerg, Aurier, they had a ridiculously good game. It's like when everything came together at once. But I will say this, if Anthony Martial gets sent off, so does Eric Lamela. Both of them are being stupid. Both of them in an unnecessary scuffle before a corner kick, I believe it was. They both raised their arms and they should either nothing happen, both get yellow carded or both get sent off. It was ridiculous that the referee gave a red card to Martial and absolutely nothing to Eric Lamela. Having said that, Spurs were dominating before that and they always looked like they were going to go on and win. It just might not have been as extreme as 6-1. But in true Spurs fashion, them pulling off an unbelievable victory wasn't even the highlight of the day, as Aston Villa put 7 past Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. 7 goals against the reigning champions with apparently the best defender in the world at centre-back. Unbelievable. To be fair, I'm not blaming Van Dijk for any of this. This wasn't his fault. This was a shocking performance on the team as a whole, from start to finish, from front to back, especially with Adrian. We talk about it a lot on this channel when, you bring up kind of these cult heroes where a player is obviously not a very good player, but for some reason within his club, everyone thinks it's a bit of a laugh to have him around. The same thing at Liverpool with Divock Origi. Everyone's like, we've got Origi, the goal against Everton, the semi-final, Barcelona, blah, blah. He's rubbish. He's terrible. When he comes in, he's a poor excuse as a backup for Firmino. Same thing with Minamino, same thing with Shaqiri, same thing with Adrian and Alisson, same thing with Lovren and, well, he's not there anymore, but when Lovren was coming in for Van Dijk or Joe Gomez. When Liverpool don't have their strongest squad, they are not as good because they don't have as good players, and I think the quicker they realise this, the quicker that they're going to get back on their feet. I mean, the signing of Jota and Thiago are brilliant, because they've seen that they're quite weak when one player is out. So they've gone and made some good signings. But elsewhere in the team, they're looking so poor. It wouldn't surprise me if by transfer deadline day, the time it shuts this evening, Klopp has signed a new goalkeeper, because it looks like Alisson may be out for a few more weeks. However, like with the Spurs-Manchester United game, forget about Liverpool now. It's all about Aston Villa. They were brilliant. Ross Barkley, the new signing, was fantastic. Jack Grealish showing why he was linked with so many clubs. For anyone who doubted Grealish and said, he's not really that good, he's playing at Aston Villa, all you have to do is watch that game. The confidence, the ability on the ball, he had a hand in 5 goals, utterly fantastic. And as well, big shout out to John McGinn in the middle of midfield as well. An insane performance from the midfielder and really kept Aston Villa taking over. And even though they did concede 2 goals, they were still pretty good in defence as well, pretty sharp. That partnership of Mings and Konza also looking like a very good deal. And on top of this, of course, Ollie Watkins, a hat-trick, a first-half hat-trick. His first goals in the Premier League, and to do it against the reigning champions, what a day for him. Anyway, moving on, and now, because it's transfer deadline day, there is a whole load of transfers to talk about. So these could all happen within the next few hours, and of course, by the time this video comes out, there may be loads more breaking news. So for those of you who love to write in the comments, oh Matt, what about this transfer? Just assume that it didn't happen now by the time I'm filming, and that it's come out after the video has come out. Anyway, let us know in the comment section. We'll create some sort of little hub for everyone to have their latest news in the comment section down below. And first off, Matteo Guendouzi, out of Arsenal, potentially. It looks like Hertha Berlin are close to signing him on a loan deal. This would also mean there is room in the squad for the likes of Thomas Partey, although that deal may not be happening. At least it'll be a very, very late one. Talks between the two clubs, though, did reach a good point at the weekend, as Torreira in the midfield has joined Atletico Madrid on loan. To give another loan deal, and Moise Kean has left Everton to join PSG on loan for the season, and they will not be bringing in Dele Alli from Spurs. AC Milan look like they've all but completed their loan deal for Antonio Rudiger for this season, with 2 years left on his Chelsea contract. Barcelona are still hopeful about signing Depay should Lyon let him leave, although reports over the weekend suggest that neither he nor Arsenal and Juventus target Aouar are leaving. Justin Kluivert could be on loan to RB Leipzig from Roma after they let Ademola Lookman go to Fulham. Davy Klaassen is set to return to former club Ajax in an €11 million deal. Bayern Munich is set to be busy, as apparently they're in for Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Honestly, that guy has the greatest agent of all time. Took him from Stoke to PSG, now to Bayern Munich. That's mental. And they've also turned their attention from Callum Hudson-Odoi to Douglas Costa, bringing back their former player on loan from Juventus. But we are not done there. Leeds United are also close to bringing in Rafinha from Rennes. Not the Rafinha that used to play for Barcelona, but they'll be bringing him in from Ligue 1, and another fantastic signing from Marcelo Bielsa's side to add to a pretty good weekend after that draw against Manchester City. The reason they're bringing in Rafinha is because they will not be signing Dan James from Manchester United, because he's not going out. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be coming in on that right wing position. Jadon Sancho, we spoke about it before, it's not happening. British media, it's not happening. Here in Germany, everyone knows, they've said it for months, unless that money is stumped up, Jadon Sancho will not be leaving the club. So moving on now to Friday Feels, where you guys left your footballing predictions in the comment section on Friday's Daily, and we've got a few of them that were correct. First up, Mila Chatterjee guessed that Juventus would beat Napoli 3-0. In fact, technically, it does go down in the record books as a 3-0, but honestly, it's an absolute joke from Serie A. Basically, Napoli had 2 players who tested positive for COVID-19, so they weren't allowed to travel to the game. They asked for it to be postponed. Serie A said no. So Juventus turned up to the stadium. They didn't have an opponent. Napoli obviously weren't there. So by default, the victory is given as a 3-0. Good news for you, Mila, who gets 3-0, but an utter disgrace from Serie A. Honestly, how are they prioritising one match over the health of these players, and then all of the players that these affect as well, like their families too? Really, really not the smartest move. Next up, Ritosh Ashokuma guessed that Spurs would beat Manchester United, and a load of you in the comments section tried to predict the Spurs United game. Those of you who said United would win, obviously wrong. Those of you who said Spurs would win, no one guessed 6-1, well, pretty much for obvious reasons. And lastly but not least, Antesh Tiwari guessed that Real Madrid would beat Levante, and they did. Karim Benzema on the score sheet again, and Vinicius Jr. too, in what's been a quiet but very effective start to the season for Real Madrid. So finally, we come to Emoji Mondays. This is where we on Football throw a couple of emojis down on some of the weekend's action. And best players, I mean, the whole of Emoji Mondays, you know which games it's going to surround. Come on, guys, do the math. Best players. From the Spurs game, Kane and Son were brilliant, but I'm giving it to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in defensive midfield. He was astonishing. What a match from him. It was a close call with Serge Aurier as well, but Højbjerg wins it for me. And the same thing in the Aston Villa game. Despite the fact the likes of Barkley, Grealish and Ollie Watkins were superb, I thought McGinn in central midfield was absolutely outstanding and really was the hub of everything good that Aston Villa did. So yes, maybe not the headline grabbers, but 2 players who I thought I'd single out for some exceptional praise and give them my players of the week. As for the worst players of the week, Luke Shaw, my God. I don't even know what he was doing. There were times he was out of position. In fact, the whole game he was out of position. What was he doing? The fact that Serge Aurier had such a good game tells you something about the left-hand side of Manchester United's team, and that Luke Shaw was completely and utterly missing. Alongside this, I'm going for Adrian in goal as well. Another poor performance from the Liverpool goalkeeper, another mistake, and I know he made some good saves in the penalty shootout for the UEFA Super Cup, whenever that was, last season. But in all honesty, if he's been released by West Ham and he's not good enough for West Ham, why is he suddenly good enough to be back up at Liverpool? The answer is he's not. So maybe they should sign a new goalkeeper. Anyway, moving on, the best results of the weekend, of course, Spurs winning 6-1 and Villa winning 7-2. There you have it then. Apologies if it's very Premier League heavy, but you guys give me a result over the weekend from around Europe which you think is more interesting to talk about than those two that happened on Sunday night. I think you'll be hard pressed to find a more interesting pair of results. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on Emoji Mondays down below in the comment section, and all of the transfer news as it comes in wherever you hear it from. Make sure you leave a source as well so we know who you're getting all your information from. Let us know in the comment section. At the time of filming, I've mentioned pretty much all of the big ones for the day. So you guys keep everyone else up to date in the comment section down below. Whilst you're there, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.